Greetings, Sandanani Absheni. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am glad you are here. As you can see on my back, today's topic will be about pre-eclampsia. Now, I am going to divide this topic into different parts because it is a huge, broad topic. In order for us to get to severe pre-eclampsia, eclampsia itself, we will have to break it down and we'll have to understand that how does this come to pass? What is the pathophysiology around it? What are the causes of it, and how does it worsen, and etc. And so in today's video, we'll be touching on 3 of these things. Now, I won't dive much into the definition of pre-eclampsia. If you are interested in knowing about the definitions, then go back to my very first video when I was defining different hypertensive disorders. But in a nutshell, as we are about to start this lesson, pre-eclampsia is basically the presence of proteinuria and an elevated blood pressure in a woman who is pregnant. And so we term it as pre-eclampsia because it is normally the signs and symptoms that you get before the woman experiences a condition that we call eclampsia itself. Now, you would note that it is classified into moderate preeclampsia, mild preeclampsia, and severe preeclampsia. And so today I'll be talking about the pathophysiology and the etiology, meaning the causes, like the reason or the origin of pre-eclampsia itself. And so I'm excited about this lesson. I hope you're excited too. Let us get right into it. Now, before we start with today's video, here's a disclaimer that these videos are made for educational purposes and do not constitute as medical advice. The references used in the compilation of this video will be stated below in the description box. So, pre-eclampsia is a condition that is normally thought to be caused by the way that the placenta will embed itself inside the uterine bed. Now, with pre-eclampsia, it is believed that there is a bit of a malfunction in the way that the embryo or the placenta will be embedded in the uterine wall, and hence the complications that we will see. So in this part of the video, I'll be explaining the normal process that is expected to happen as the embryo embeds itself in the placenta. So we all know that before any pregnancy occurs, fertilization has to happen. That is the egg meeting with the sperm, and then fertilization occurs. After that, the cells go through a meiotic division where they differentiate into many cells until it becomes a blastocyte. A blastocyte has in its outer lining what we call a trophoblast. The trophoblasts are the ones that are responsible for the nutrition of the blastocyte. Now, the trophoblasts will erode the uterine bed and go through all the way to the myometrium. Now, this is necessary because there has to be an increased blood flow that will then come to this growing embryo, even in its early stage. And so the trophoblasts will erode the uterine bed until the spiral arteries are dilated. So normally we expect the spiral arteries in the myometrium to dilate because, as I said, this is necessary for the oxygenation, the nutrition of the growing embryo. Now, in pre-eclampsia, it is believed that these spiral arteries do not dilate as they should. This may be because of an ischemic condition that is within the uterine bed or dysfunction that is caused in this whole process. And so in pre-eclampsia, the spiral arteries do not dilate, meaning that there is vasoconstriction. Now, with this will cause many of the problems that we see in pre-eclampsia itself because the placenta will go through what we call oxidative stressed placenta. And there will be substances or factors that are released by this placenta, which will cause a damage to the endothelial cells. Now, endothelial cells are what we find in our blood vessels, in the lining of our blood vessels. And one of the functions of the endothelial cells is to regulate the level in which the blood vessels will dilate or constrict, right? And also the endothelial cells are responsible for the permeability, meaning how substances will flow through and in and out of the blood vessel itself. And it has to do as well with how substances or nutrients travel from the blood vessels to the tissues. And so in preeclampsia, the endothelial cells will be damaged because of the substances released by the stressed placenta. Now note that this will cause a malfunction of the endothelial cells. So the endothelial cells will actually constrict. And now with this constriction as well, remember that our body has its own immunity, and the coagulation cascade will respond by secreting platelets or giving out platelets to the blood vessel to go to areas where there is damage. And now this causes a use of those platelets. There'll be increased permeability. This has to do with why women with preeclampsia will have edema. And then remember that also with this damage, it happens that now there is decreased blood flow and hypoxia due to this vasoconstriction. What can also happen is hyperplasia or an enlarging of the cells within the body of the woman because of these stressful factors. In my next video, I will be explaining how preeclampsia affects different systems in the body, your renal system, your hematological system. Look out for that video in part 2 of pre-eclampsia. Now let us get into the etiology. So it is believed that some of the conditions that predispose women to pre-eclampsia are your nutritional deficiencies, a deficiency in some of the essential minerals. Genetics has to do with maybe the mother of the woman herself did have preeclampsia in her pregnancy. It may be possible that she also experiences preeclampsia. Uterine ischemia has to do with an ischemic condition that is existing in the uterus and then causing preeclampsia. With your first pregnancy as well, or your multiple gestation, it is usual that the woman will have preeclampsia. With women under the age of 16 or even above the age of 37, preeclampsia is possible. And with an increased BMI, remember that this exposes the woman to different conditions, and also with your diabetes, which can expose her to hypertensive disorders. With your previous intrauterine death and placenta abruptio, it is possible for the woman to have preeclampsia in the current pregnancy. Now, I hope you did enjoy today's lesson. Look out for part 2. Now, remember to like, subscribe, share, and also leave a comment of how this video was and maybe some of the other additional information you might have. Thank you for watching. Bye.